training us, getting us ready to ease in to this system they call America. And this process is always manufacturing a type of thinking that is susceptible, right, to follow along the pattern that whoever takes over the government will be easy prey because the stage has already been set. So it's called the manufacture of consent. The next part, which relates to us a lot nowadays, is perception management. That is, whatever the reality is, reshape the reality and manage how the people receive that information about that reality. If the Muslims are coming together, unifying, right, and rising up all over the world, we have to draw a picture of what that means to the people in order for us to do what we want to do to those people called Muslims. So in the perception management, we talked about it before, I won't spend much time on it, but every time you turn on the news or you're watching TV, if they show the World Trade Center or bombing, they will always show the Muslims making salat, right? So they'll show the bombing, boom, the building is up and on fire. Then they'll show the Muslims making salat. Isn't that right? This is common. They'll have some time you turn on the news or you're watching TV. If they show the World Trade Center or bombing, they will always show the Muslims making salat, right? So they'll show the bombing, boom, the building is up and on fire. Then they'll show the Muslims making salat. Isn't that right? This is common. They'll have some other terrorist, a susceptible affair going on, as they call it. Then they'll show a sister in hijab or a group of sisters in hijab. What that is now, that is already sowing the seeds in the minds of the people through what they call association. This is all regular psychology 101. Associate things in their proper place, and whenever anybody thinks about one, they'll think about the other, right? So with all of that running it smooth, all cylinders wide open and booming, like the Bush administration, well, they would go into this war in Afghanistan and also in Iraq with all cylinders booming, with 2 4-barrel carburetors. They don't use them nowadays, but an old gas was so cheap, believe it or not, people had 2 4-barrel carburetors on their cars, or 3 deuces as they call it. That is 3 2-barrel carburetors. Or the other people had, they say, your car running so good, man, what you got under your hood? We'd say 3 of those people, Negroes with tennis shoes on. Anyway, but the perception is there. They've already set us up, right? Everything is running wide open, that when anybody views anything relating to Islam, it's going to sink in that this is bad, it's negative, it's against democracy, it's against truth. So when they see the Palestinians rising up in a just struggle, they deserve to have their land, their property. They've been there 10, 20,000 years. Yahud float in from Belgium somewhere, and he can build a house, do whatever he wants, and the people has been there all the time, right? Coming in from Poland or wherever they came from, they can do whatever they want, or from Brooklyn even, right? So the people that are there struggling for their freedom are not called freedom fighters, they're called terrorists. And the ones that come in doing the bombing and killing, they're called Democrats, the only democracy in the Middle East. Who is that? The Zionist state of Israel. Well, that's like saying America is a democracy, right? They didn't kill off everybody that was here and put them on reservation, and everybody else coming as an immigrant, they want to get in on the program, get free land, and what have you, so automatically they're going to win the vote, right? Because the people that own the land is all dead. So if you go move everybody off the land in Palestine, and you bring in your homies from Europe, they're the only ones can really exercise a vote, well, of course you're going to win. But anyway, we want to get to what we're dealing with now. Brothers and sisters, as we talked about before, when the time comes for Allah's to revive his people and his religion, everything that the enemy does, the non-believers do, may seem to help their cause, but it's not to help their cause. It is to trap them into their own cycle of destruction. It's Allah playing them out of pocket. That's what it is. So that they stick their foot in Afghanistan, stick their foot in Iraq, and they get it in so deep that any way it comes out, they're going to be the loser. And we, the Muslims, are going to be the winner. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, let not the strutting about in the land deceive you. Not let these Rumsfeld, Wolfowitz, and all of those people, don't let their arrogance fool you into thinking that they're going to come out victorious. And I said all of that to go to something that we have said 150,000 times, right? That every time old Sam gets trapped into something, right? Some of his homeboys, whether he call them Al-Qaeda or whoever he call them, right? Do something to change the subject, isn't that right? Now, alhamdulillah, that we didn't say it here so often that we all know this, but the public needs to know. See? So they have to know that we're talking about this subject right in the middle of May 2004. So whenever it's broadcast, the people will know that we're giving a response to the way things are on that day, right? So whether it's Friday the 14th or the 15th, Allah knows best. But I'm telling you that everything that has happened during this last week is another manifestation of the depravity of the United States government. How do we mean? First of all during this week they had the hearings about all the atrocities and how bad America was looking. We came to Iraq to liberate the people. We came to Iraq to free the people, isn't that right? And then the people began to see the films and movies and videos and stills come out to show how deprived and how sick that this government really is, and how much they really truly love so-called democracy. Well, what they done did is they do just like here in the street, just like the Zionists do, pick up thousands of people, drop them off in jail, and now try to turn as many of those people as they can into snitches, stooges, and informers. Isn't that right? That's what that prison, the purpose of that prison in Iraq, they didn't care nothing about guilt or innocence of those people, because as they say themselves, number one, we let go 90% of the people. 9 out of 10 people they let go automatically. Why? Because they know they don't have no case on them, but they want to squeeze them. They want to stress them. And then out of those 100, 1,000, 2,000 people, they can glean 5 or 10 snitches and stooges that will go back amongst their people and inform them. Snitches and stooges, brothers and sisters, is one of the assets that the enemy always has. The organized enemy always have access to us, and we have less access to him, even if they're in our own country. In America, when you go to court, what do they say in federal court? The United States government versus Johnny Jones, isn't that right? It don't sound like much, but that means the United States government, all of its power, all of its assets, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, FBI, CIA, everything they got, right? Prosecutors, snitches, stooges, all against you. You there are going to try to beat a case against the feds.